Hey kids, welcome back to some more science. The very last of our anatomy science, our super cool anatomy science. This last week we're going to talk about the system that covers everything up. I mean, I'm wearing this shirt where you see all my organs, but when you're walking down the street or looking in the mirror, you don't see this. Your body's all covered up. We're going to talk about what covers up all of our body parts, our skin, the fat, and all the things associated with that. The scientific name for this system is the integumentary, but that's a really hard word for even me to say. So we're not going to use that word. We're just going to say skin. This week, we're going to talk all about your skin. We are going to talk about the different layers of your skin and what's in each one. We're going to talk about things you see on your skin, like hair, moles, or sweat glands. We're going to even talk about the color of skin, because I'm sure you've noticed that skin comes in all sorts of colors. Why is that? What's the point of that? Let's find out. So, let's get started learning about our skin. Your skin is the largest organ in your body. Your heart's an organ, your lungs are an organ, and your skin, even though it's everywhere, it's also an organ. It's constantly growing and changing every day. Your skin is thickest on the bottom of your feet, which is pretty good because you like running around without shoes on, I'm sure. Your skin is the thinnest right here on your eyelids, where it doesn't need to be quite so thick. There are many layers to your skin, and each layer has a special job to keep your body working fine. I have a video here that talks about that. Let's take a look.
How the Body Works with Chloe and the Nerve.
Fleshlight?
Check.
Root?
Check.
Trail mix?
Check.
Picture of my mommy?
Check. Now, will you tell me where we're going with all this stuff?
We're going under the surface of the skin. Skin, 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 skin.
Excuse me.
Well, this is pretty cool. I mean, I see skin all the time. Soft skin, wrinkly skin, light skin, dark skin. But I never thought about what's under the skin.
What's on top is just the beginning of the skin you're in. The skin actually has 3 layers. There's the epidermis, the dermis, and the subcutaneous fat.
I don't know who gave you your elevator operating license, but I would like to have a word with them.
Oh, Chloe, you don't need a license to operate an elevator.
Okay, my stomach's feeling better. Whoa!
The epidermis is like a skin cell factory. New cells are being born at the bottom all the time and slowly making their way up to the top. It takes the cells about 4 weeks to get all the way up, and by the time they finally make it to the surface, they're dead.
So I'm like a skin cell graveyard?
Precisely. And you're shedding dead skin cells all the time.
Wow, what else is up here?
The epidermis also contains melanin, and it's what makes skin darker or lighter. The more melanin a person has, the darker their skin will be. Skin comes in many beautiful colors, like my lovely lavender sheen.
I've heard melanin also helps protect you from the sun.
It sure does, but even melanin can't do it all, and that's why we wear sunscreen to keep from getting burned.
So, what has the dermis done for me lately?
Let's go find out!
Ooh, look at all this stuff down here. I see blood vessels, and that's a nerve ending over there. I know nerve endings send messages to the brain, but what is the skin trying to tell the brain?
Well, it's a touchy subject.
Okay, I'm going to guess that terrible pun means that this has to do with the sense of touch.
Smarter and smarter you get. Think of all the things your skin touches. Rough tree bark, a cold snowball, a nice cup of hot chocolate. Nerve endings read all of these sensations and tell the brain and nervous system about them. Then the brain and nervous system decide if the body needs to respond.
So if I touch something too hot, my nervous system tells my hand to move away from it?
Exactly.
Wow, I never knew my skin was so smart.
And it doesn't just feel hot or cold. Your skin also detects other touches, like tickling.
Hey, what are those things?
Those are your beautiful, your glorious, your fabulous sweat and oil glands. They keep you wonderfully sticky and sweaty.
Ew.
Yes, but a good ooh. Oil glands, or sebaceous glands, make a sticky substance called sebum that moves up to the epidermis, where it creates an oily layer that protects and moistens your skin. Sebum also makes your skin a little waterproof.
But what about the sweat glands?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. The sweat glands start here in the dermis, where they make sweat that travels up.
Slowly, please.
Up to the epidermis, where the sweat comes out of holes called pores.
And the last stop on the skin layer express is the...
Subcutaneous fat.
A little warning next time, maybe?
Oh, fat. Sweet fat.
Why do we need fat?
The body needs some fat to cushion and help protect your bones and organs. This layer of fat also helps keep you nice and toasty warm.
Nice. What else is down here?
See that thing over there?
I know what that is. That's a hair follicle. So the hair starts all the way down here?
And goes all the way up here.
Ugh, I bet the hair does it at a more reasonable speed.
Oh, I forgot. Near the base of the hair, there are little muscles called erector pili that tighten when you're cold and pull the hair so it stands up straight. It's called the pilometer reflex.
Fancy word.
And that's what makes all those little bumps pop up on your skin.
You mean goosebumps?
The very same. Remember those blood vessels we saw in the dermis?
Yes.
These ones!
Yes, those ones.
When you're cold, they make themselves really small to keep all your nice warm blood far away from the cold air outside your skin.
Don't you dare. You were saying?
When you're hot, those blood vessels bring all the blood closer to the surface of the skin so it can cool down faster.
Is that why when I run a lot my face gets red?
It is precisely why. And the sweat glands help here too. They produce a lot of sweat on the surface of your skin, which evaporates and disappears, cooling you down in the process.
Next time, I'm driving.
All right, you can drive in the sequel. Under the surface of the skin too, Chloe takes the lever.
Sweet.
So you can see from that video that a big job of your skin is to protect what's going on inside, your organs, all this squishy stuff that would get hurt if it wasn't protected. Your ribs are there to protect this stuff, but your ribs aren't enough. Over the top of your ribs, your muscles to help move that stuff around. Over your muscles, your fat to help protect all your organs and muscles and to keep you warm. And then on top of that, your skin. As for your skin itself, the top layer, you can see there's hair there. You can feel there's sweat glands when it gets hot. And I can see some blood vessels and stuff too, stuff that shines through. I can't see the really tiny ones. Your skin might also have little discolorations like moles or freckles. That's all part of your skin. Let's talk now about pigmentation. Pigmentation is a fancy word for skin color. How much melanin is in your skin that makes it either lighter or darker. The more melanin your skin has, the darker your skin appears. The less, the lighter. But a lot of times our society kind of gives overall broad names to skin colors, which if you think about it, aren't very accurate. For example, I have a crayon that I got out of my crayon box. This crayon is called white. Now, a lot of people would call me white, but I don't really match this color at all. I mean, clouds are this color, but people aren't really this color, and yet we call this kind of skin often white. The same goes for black and brown. These are two crayons I have from my crayon box that are black and brown. I've heard people call black and brown, but this doesn't really look like anybody I know either. My dog's that color, but I've never seen a person with that color. Brown, maybe. But the point is, These names that we give people are actually not very accurate. Take a look at this picture. Look at all the people in this picture. These are all different colors that people come in. So melanin determines the color of our skin, but it also has a very important role in protecting our skin. One of the biggest jobs for melanin in our skin is to protect us from the harmful rays of the sun. The sun produces energy called UV light, and that UV light can go through our skin and actually damage the stuff underneath. To keep that from happening, the melanin gets together and starts ramping up, making more melanin, making the skin darker, and that helps protect our skin from that harmful light. But the melanin is only one kind of protection. It can't do the whole job, as we know. Anybody who's ever had a sunburn knows that the melanin just isn't 100% foolproof. We have to help our melanin. We have to help our skin with these important steps. Number 1, sunscreen. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, I know you probably hate putting it on, but guess what, people? If you don't want your skin to be damaged, if you don't want to have health problems later in your life, you need to use sunscreen. That sun is super hot and super harmful, and your skin cannot do the job by itself. Put sunscreen on any exposed skin. Your skin will sweat this stuff off, and it kind of comes off in the water too. So you have to keep putting it on. Take care of your skin. Use your sunscreen. Number 2, protect your eyes with sunglasses. This will protect the skin around your eyes and that delicate stuff inside your eyes. Use your sunglasses when you're outside. Number 3, although sunscreen is awesome and melanin is awesome, the best protection for your skin against the sun is protective clothing. A hat and a shirt. I know some of you probably have swim shirts when you go to the beach or when you're outside in the summer. Wear them. Look at this. I'm covered up. Guess what? The sun can't get through my shirt. This is even better than sunscreen. When I'm swimming in the summer, I'm outside a lot, I usually keep my shoulders covered because my shoulders and my nose are spots that usually get burnt. My hat and my shirt will help keep that from happening. I have some very happy skin. So the amount of melanin determines how dark or how light a person's skin is. But did you know that there are people who really don't have any melanin? What does that look like? Well, it looks like this. This condition, it's something you're born with, a lack of melanin or not enough melanin, is called albinism. And somebody who has this condition is called an albino. Albino people are just like you and me, except they don't have any melanin. They have to be super careful when they're outside. Cover up, put on sunglasses, and limit their time in the sun. As we've learned, melanin is an important factor for making sure you don't get sunburned. If you don't have any melanin, then you're probably going to get sunburned if you're out too much. Animals also can be albino. Let's take a quick moment and talk about hair. Hair is something that we all have. Some of us are born with lots of hair. Some of us, not so much. By the time we grow up and get older, some of us keep a lot of hair, and some of us don't. Our hair can be long, or our hair can be short. Men can have long hair, men can have short hair. Men can have no hair, and the same goes for women. Long, short, or no. And remember that melanin that we have in our skin? We also have melanin, that pigmentation in our hair. As we grow older, as people age, the melanin decreases and the hair turns gray and even white. Melanin affects your hair as well. Hair is just something that grows out of our skin. And while hair does serve some purpose as far as keeping our head warm and keeping our head from getting sunburned, whether or not it's long or short is usually up to us. And I want to say there's no such thing as boy hair or girl hair. If somebody wants to have long hair, boy or girl, awesome. If they want to have short hair, that's awesome too. It's just hair, people. It's just hair. Our project time. Here's what you're going to need to make your arm model. 2 pieces of white paper, a half a sheet of yellow paper, half a sheet of red, half a sheet of skin color, whatever color you want. I chose brown. Some red crayons, blue crayons, black crayon, stapler, tape,
and the scissors.
All right, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make our hand. We're gonna have a hand on the end of an arm. So I chose a purple marker. You can choose whatever color you want. I'm gonna trace my hand on a piece of paper. I chose white paper. You can trace it on whatever color you want. Ta-da! Now I'm gonna cut it out. There I go. You'll notice I rounded the end. I had to end it somehow. And I didn't cut completely on the lines. It's kind of hard to get around those fingers. Do the best you can. Now I'm gonna leave my hand white, but you could color it any color you want. That's why I chose white paper, because you can put any color you want on white paper. But for this demonstration, I'm just gonna leave it white. Next, we're gonna create our bone. We're gonna take our piece of white paper and we're just gonna fold it over a bunch of times to make a nice thick wad of paper. See? And then I'm gonna tape it shut in a few places so it doesn't unroll. That's my bone. My bone is white, so that's why I chose white for that. Ta-da! Next, I'm going to attach my hand to my bone. I'm going to use my stapler. You could tape it, but a stapler works better. There we go. I should also mention that you can see my hand's a little bit floppy. If you could draw your hand on something like a cereal box or some tag board or even some manila folder, that will make that a little less floppy, but I didn't have those things. So there we go, my hand and my bone. Next, I'm gonna wrap my bone in muscles. This red paper is my muscle. I'm gonna wrap it around like that. And I'm gonna tape it. I didn't wrap it super tight because I might want to take it off and look inside again. There it is. Over the top of my muscles, I've got some blood vessels. So I'm going to draw those. I'm going to use blue for my veins. And I can see on my hand I even have some veins. So I'm going to draw some veins on my hand. And then the red ones are going to be where the blood is going out. So I got some of those on there. See? You could even put fingernail polish on if you want to, or draw some rings or a watch. Go crazy. I'm gonna leave mine plain. Next comes fat. The fat is to protect our muscles and our bones. Oops, this is a little bit long, so I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. So the fat is gonna go over the top. There we go. Tape that down. And again, I didn't tape it very tight because I might want to be able to take it off and look at my muscle and my blood vessels. And I can do that if it's not too tight. Last comes my skin. Now, we talked about earlier how it's really hard to come up with the exact same skin colors. I just chose this color because it's kind of close and I like the color. So I'm going to put that over the top. And again, I kind of want to see the others, so I am going to cut a little bit off, just so my other stuff is sticking out a little bit. And I'm going to wrap that around too, loosely, in case I want to take it off. There. Now my skin is on top of everything. Now my skin has some hair on it, so I'm going to use my little pen, my little black crayon, to draw some hair on there. Uh-oh, I have a boo-boo on my arm. So I'm gonna draw a boo-boo right there. Ouch, I cut myself. So what do I need to put on top of that to keep it clean? A Band-Aid. My arm has a Band-Aid on it too. And there is your model of your arm. You've got your skeleton, you've got your muscle, you've got your fat, you've got your skin, and you even have, if you did it like me, a boo-boo. So, high five for making our model. Well, that's all I have this week on your skin, and on the fat and hair and all that good stuff. It's also the last week we have on our anatomy unit. But like I said, there's a lot more to learn. Go get some books, watch some videos. Go at it. Anatomy is so cool. And you know what else is cool? Science is cool.